Being a motor racing fan from the United States in the 1990s, it was hard not to love IndyCar. So when IndyCar Racing II here came out in 1995 from Papyrus, it was a must-buy, and it absolutely blew everyone's minds. To this day, I still think this is the best DOS racing simulator that exists. Papyrus were really onto something special here. And I find myself every 6 months or so coming back to this one to do some more racing, and I think part of that is nostalgia and the fact that I love older racing sims, but the other part is that there truly has not been a dedicated IndyCar / kart simulator since this game came out in 1995. There have been other games, and there's of course mods and cars and iRacing and all of that, but nothing has truly tried to do IndyCar like this. So I boot this up all the time and have a lot of fun with it. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't want something more modern to exist. I love racing the old sims, but it would be amazing to race Indy cars and kart cars from the 1990s in a more modern and up-to-date sim. This is the VRC Formula North America 1999, a 1990s champ car brought to Assetto Corsa by the wonderful VRC group, who do some fantastic mods, and this one is no exception. Clearly, looking at it, it certainly looks the part, and it's modeled after no specific car, although I feel like it looks most like the Reynard chassis from that time period. But it has all the qualities of a late 90s champ car, weighing just about 1,500 pounds, a little over 900 horsepower. These were insane machines, and especially in super speedway aero like you're seeing here, were some of the fastest circuit cars of all time in a straight line. This car comes in two different body kits. You have the road kit and the oval kit, and I've seen quite a few videos out there on YouTube with the road kit, and I think a lot of modern sims do road racing quite well. Assetto Corsa has proven that it does it quite well even with AI. Oval racing, though, is the big one that sims are missing, and for champ car in the 90s, for IndyCar really, you have to have oval racing. That's one of the main differentiators for Indy versus like a Formula One or something, is racing around ovals, and this type of car around an oval is nothing but impressive. I recently did the Kart Precision Racing review, and even though I knew that sim was a big letdown going into it, I couldn't help but be disappointed that it represented IndyCar and kart so poorly. So I went looking for something that did a good job at it, and this is, for a modern sim, I don't know if there's anything that compares to this. I know there's some really good mods for Automobilista and the original R Factor that I've tried with the 1998 cars. I think this is right on par with those, if not a little bit better. And what you'll see here for oval racing, I think Assetto Corsa is actually doing quite a good job with it. So in addition to the road and oval body kits, the mod also comes with a group of paint schemes, which have all been fictionalized a little bit to avoid copyright. But since this is such a good mod, the community's actually painted pretty much every car that raced in the 1999 kart season, and even the 2000 and 2001 seasons I've seen as well. So you can race a few different seasons, or your favorite kart season, I guess, towards the end of the really high point for kart with this. So I did grab myself all of the 1999 cars, and my God, some of these cars were absolutely beautiful with the different sponsors and paint schemes. We really didn't know what we had back in the day, but I would take almost any of these on the modern grid. So enough gawking at this thing. I want to take it for a race, and I've brought it to Michigan Speedway, which was home to the US 500 in 1999. It was one of two super speedway races on the calendar around high fast ovals, the other being Fontana. And this was the US 500, the competitor to the Indy 500, but it was a couple years after they had tried to stage it on the same exact day. It was actually the first race that Tony Kanaan won. And being as I am, I've actually gone ahead and assembled the real grid, and I'm going to drive this race as Greg Moore. Greg didn't have a great race in this race. He started towards the back and fell out with some transmission trouble pretty early on. But obviously, 1999 was Greg Moore's final season, so I thought it'd be fun to see if I could recreate history here a little bit and maybe get Greg a good finish. But I'll be starting towards the back, so that'll be hard to do. And I'm going to do a bit longer of a race than usual. I want to do 50 laps around Michigan, which will go pretty quick because it's Michigan, but that's just long enough that we're going to need a pit stop in the middle. And surprisingly, Assetto Corsa does a great job with the pit stops and the AI and all that. So why don't we get started with this? A bit of a fun race to show off an absolutely awesome car here at Michigan. All right, so here we come out of the fourth turn. Green flag is out. Fifth gear across the line. We'll look for sixth. 230 miles an hour coming towards turn number one. Oh, and just a breath of the throttle, trying to find the line. Oh, Richie Hearn flying past me in the Bud car there. So we'll come out onto the back straightaway. Got another car looking low. I think PJ Jones side by side with Hearn. I'll just play this one cautious as we'll come into turn three. Clearly Jones is on a mission to go somewhere. Oh, field getting backed up a bit. Come back onto the front straightaway. See if I can use the slipstream here. Get past Hearn. Get past Jones. And come into turn one again. So we'll keep it a couple lanes up. Jones flying by on the bottom side. And then in the slipstream, it's absolutely huge here, right against the wall, coming into turn number three. And fighting back and forth. You get the awesome slipstreams. The AI get it too. I'm able to get around the low side of him. We'll also get past Helio Castroneves there. So two for the price of one. We'll come into the corner. Oh, all right. So I think finally not side by side with somebody through the corner. So this is absolutely insane racing. I have to watch my mirrors too. I don't have a spotter to help me out as you probably would have had in real life. And it's absolutely needed. The blind spots are kind of huge with the mirrors and how small they are. So stuck up here behind Big Mo. Oh, and one of the Penske cars, actually both of them, getting squeezed right against the wall. Penske was not super quick in 1999, not one of their better seasons. So they're a little further back here. So we'll come onto the straightaway. Just have to play with that throttle, make sure you don't put the car in any of a bad position. I have massive respect for the guys that actually did this in real life. You're going so fast and anything can happen in a split second. A lot of it out of your control, but work our way past Scott Pruitt there. Seeing all these paint schemes and seeing all the drivers, it all just instantly came back. Oh, Pruitt working on the low side then. Try to squeeze above him. I think all of this is just burnt in my memory, but for good reason. This was some absolutely epic racing back in the late 90s. We'll come onto the front straightaway in the slipstream. I think I got Cristiano D'Amato, put it 3 wide. Try to grab the slipstream of the Penske coming into the corner. Oh, we're gonna stick it around the high side. 3-car zipping past. I think that'd be Alex Barron. Raced for a short time for Penske. The other one must be Little Al. So this circuit, so we're in the slipstream, almost no time to talk about what I'm doing, just have to do it. You can drive this almost flat out or flat out if you get the line right when you're alone, but the slipstream, clearly you can see it's huge, and so you fight with the other cars. It speeds you up so much that you have to lift out of the throttle a lot, but they were also able to model the aero push to get a good run here on Junior. The aero push, which is such a huge part of open wheel downforce oval racing and often lacking in mods and things. It's hard to simulate, or maybe not possible to simulate in a lot of places, but it really changes how you race. You can't just enter a corner directly behind another car and expect to make that corner. Your wings don't have any air on them anymore, so they can't do anything. But Junior getting a run back on me from behind. Little Al there. Can't see where he is, so I got to take the high line through 3. Oh, there he goes on the low side. Try to come back on him though. Gets a slow exit. That's what happens when you pinch the corner like that. see, take a wide sweeping line into the corner because you want to keep that speed up. You don't want to scrub it off. There we go. Work my way around Allister Jr. there. And focus forward. Make sure he doesn't come back on me. And a blue car in front here. Making good progress up to 14th. Whoa, pushing out wide. I think it started back in 22nd. There comes Allister Jr. again. Working, I think that's Gilles de Ferran in the Valvoline car at this point. Not Robbie Gordon anymore for Walker Racing there. But got a little understeer that time being behind Junior, so I had to back out of it. You see how much distance I lost, but I've got that super slipstream from the two cars side by side. Well, there we go again, washing out wide a little bit. Oh, and they might go 3 wide in front. We got a slower car there or something. Oh, de Ferran, not sure where to go. Has to back out of it. I back out of it as well. Back into the corner. See if I can maybe come on the low side of him coming out of the turn. There we go. Just keep it down low. Made the pass on de Ferran. Allister Jr. is gone in front of me. He just really picked up some speed. Working lap 12 now of the 50. You can see the lap counter at the bottom of the screen. Should have to pit around lap 25 or so. I think I could go a bit further, but might as well split it right down the middle. Interestingly enough, the AI seem to adapt to the race distance that you choose in Assetto Corsa. Oh, the group in front so close. They'll try their own strategies, the AI, to make up the distance on fuel, so we might have some pitting relatively early, but they'll all make it to the end. So we'll come around the high side. I think Roberto Moreno there in the 18 car. Quite a pack of cars here. Not something you'd really want. Oh, I was looking in my mirror for de Ferran. Oh, and that's why I was passing one of the slow cars. But now right on the back of Allister Jr. again. See if I can get to the low side of him. Gotta make authoritative moves so they don't cut you off. Oh, I might get another one too. That's Christian Fittipaldi for Newman Haas. Oh, he's gonna work around me again though. But right on the slipstream. Dip it down low. Hopefully can wash up a little bit here. Alright, able to make the pass. Well, let's hold your breath doing that through the corners. This isn't even real. But come across the line, 15, lap 15, they fly by. 30-second laps about. So a little further back from the group in front, just be out of slipstream range, but if they slow each other up at all, I should be able to catch them at least somewhat. Well, look, I don't see any cars on the pit lane yet. Now would be about the time you could start pitting and make it to the end. You can do maybe 35 laps or so on a full tank of fuel around here. It would make for quite a few pit stops in a 500-mile race as they did. I think Fittipaldi's coming back on me on the high side. He's got a good slipstream there. Let him have the high side. I'll take the low side. Oh, two in front, making contact. Spinning out into the wall. Hey, that's my teammate, Carpentier. So looking in my mirror, still seeing a couple cars there, so folks able to make it through. But no full course cautions here. Hopefully everything gets cleaned up. We'll come around this time and see the wreckage. And something like that in real life would be so catastrophic. But coming to the corner, you can see the skid marks, but no sign of it. So luckily, everything working out there. Oh, I can see a car in the pit lane. It's probably Carpentier. Be more or less race over. No matter what, it was a hard hit into the wall. Alright, but coming into turn one, I think I'm coming up on Tony Kanaan, the real winner of the race. Like I said in the intro, it was his first win. But just picking up that slipstream now, so P10. Oh, and a couple cars dipping on the pits, so the pit stops have started. Things will get a little crazy with the positions. Oh, but pulling in on Kanaan, see if I can dip to the low side. Almost making contact there, my God. Sliding back in, coming up on a slower car, I think. Which way is he gonna go? I'll dip out of it, just wait a second, try to be safe. All right, come on the low side. It's Robbie Gordon, I believe. Able to get by Kanaan here on the low side. So much happening, it's tough to keep track of. There's just a lot more visually to see and obviously in the wheel to feel compared to the old archaic games at this point. But this is doing a pretty good job, I think. The lack of full course yellows is apparent, but with the racing itself, I love the slingshotting back and forth. The AI, once you get them tuned for the circuit, work really well, and I think it's got to be the best oval racing for modern sim, other than something like an iRacing, but the best offline oval racing, and I'm so surprised by that, because I did not think Assetto Corsa would do oval racing well, but the AI can absolutely handle it, at least in the Indy cars, no problem. All right, the slipstreaming now, up to 6th, but clearly there's some cars pitting. I'm going to split it right in half at lap 25. Oh, come to the low side. I think that's the Bobby Rahal car, Max Pappas. I think Rahal was retired at this point. But he's able to stick on the high side. Here comes back on me, Pappas. Just get right behind him. Dip it into turn 3. Oh, I can see some cars slowing down in front for the pits. Whip around him on the outside. I'm pulling up on these two in front. Oh, that's one of the Target cars and Brian Herta with the Shell car. So able to make up a couple positions there, I would believe, because of the cars slowing down for the pits. But I'm going to have to take my pit stop too in a second. Alright, so there we are, coming through turns 3, 4, up to P2. No idea who I'd be chasing at this point. But we'll see. Slower car in front coming back to me. Car feels quite a bit different now that the fuel has burned off a substantial amount. It's easier to grab the line, but the tires are going to start slipping pretty soon, I'd imagine. I'm getting held up here for a second. I can grab the low side coming out of the corner. Alright, we'll start the 25th lap, so try to pit this lap as long as I'm not held up here. Cars exiting pit lane below. Alright, so should have plenty of open track to do the deceleration off the oval. One of the finer arts in oval racing is getting onto pit lane successfully. Here we'll come out of turn 3 and 4. You're so used to going fast. The car is not great at slowing down, honestly, but come down the gears, down to 50, be much slower speed limit than the real race. All right, but the only chance to relax, come down pit lane, spot my crew, be at the very end, and I love with this skin pack that every single pit stall is painted up and everything. That adds so much. It's such a minor thing, but it really does add a lot. We'll come to the end, look for the 99 board, come to the pit stall, make sure I don't overrun it here, slow down, and have the crew go to work. Very satisfied with the pits that there is, even real people doing the pit change. The fueling is slightly slow, but other than that, it fits it quite well. But wait for the fueling to stop. It feels like it takes forever, but the AI also have slower fueling. Just cars whizzing by. There we go. Lollipop lifted up. And get to the other art of oval racing, which is getting back onto the circuit. So difficult to do. Often these aprons are really bumpy. This one luckily quite smooth at Michigan. But even with that, it's so easy to just spin the car with some oversteer. And then ultimately when we got to merge, I got a car coming out wide. PJ Jones there. We'll come into the corner though. All right, successfully made the pit stop now. Just need to try to pass as many cars as I can towards the end. Worked on the high side. I think outside of PJ now. Oh, and he's right there. Just saw his wheel coming to the corner. Have to back out of it quite a bit. All right, so I'm in 17th, but clearly some cars still need to pit and everything. So we'll see how everything cycles through. Luckily got these two in front to draft with. There's Robbie Gordon on the low side. He's not the quickest, so it'd be good to get around him. Ooh, understeering a bit, back to full fuel, colder tires. It's gonna take a couple laps for things to get optimum again. But working around Robbie. Still in the slipstream from Jones in front. Not sure if he would be for position or not. Back up to P16, so past one in the pit lane. I think the cars will pit as late as lap 35, so everything gets quite spread out. But in a 500-mile race, things would be like that towards the end. You'd have cars on all different types of strategies. You never know what position you're in. Be watching your competition almost as much as you watch yourself. A couple more cars there dipping off, I think. All right, see if I can keep it flat around here. If you get that line absolutely perfect up towards the wall on entry and exit, you can make it flat. 240 even without the slipstream, or a very small slipstream on the back straightaway. It's just insane how fast these cars were. So there we go, coming through the corner, cars merging onto the back straightaway. Got a whole string of cars in front. Jones slowing down in front of me, so I guess he still needed to pit, which is good. He was pulling away, but I'd have to imagine had lighter fuel at that point or something. Come across the line, still in 16th, 18 laps to go. Little group of cars in front. I have to see if I can pull them in. A little side-by-side up there, that'll help. There we go, cars exiting, so I'll at least get those spots, I'd imagine. Yeah, 15th, 14th. Oh, gonna understeer, it was too shallow an entry, I had to get out of the throttle. That's what I want to avoid. I'm trying to catch this group. Three wide in front. Up to 13th now, so finally coming back to me. I was worried for a second there that the strategy didn't work out, or somehow my pit stop was much longer than everybody else's, but has to just cycle through with the different cars pitting. Pulling in a car, I'd have to imagine that's a slow car. But we'll use the slipstream nonetheless. You gotta use the lapped cars to your advantage. Even at a high-speed oval, you often think of the shorter ovals being the ones where the lap traffic really comes into play, but swinging out wide. My teammate exiting as well, so still in the race. I've got damage turned off just because things could be absolute carnage if cars are getting damaged. So luckily Carpentier able to survive that crazy wreck. But otherwise everybody's pretty well behaved. So come across the line, still P13, but I am reeling in the group in front ever so slightly. 14 laps to go, should be able to catch them. Just out of slipstreaming distance here, but railing him in, or it might be a slow car off the back. Just do the corners as best I can, trying to keep my foot in it, don't take a bad line. Use the slipstreams of others where I can too. See how fast I get on the back straightaway here with a slipstream, and a top over 240, 241 coming into turn 3. Have to dip out a little bit coming up behind the Castrol car here. It's one of Dan Gurney's cars. I think he was still in the sport at that time. But get around that car, still P13. But reeled him in now. We got 3 up there. All jockeying for position. Come out of the front straightaway. So I'm gonna plan my moves through here, mix of slower cars and cars for position, no doubt. Coming to turn 1, get out of the throttle a little bit, want to keep it down low. Ooh. There, passing a Chip Ganassi car, one of the Penske's. Get the slipstream there on the slower car. Wasn't able to see which target car that was, but one of them. All right, in the slipstream now. Who do we got here? Moreno. Roberto Moreno. Come through the turn there. Zip it on the low side. This should be for position. Yeah, up to 11th. Pass isn't over yet, though. Coming to turn 3. There we go. On one of the cool cars in front, Team Green. Come around the high sides, Paul Tracy. You can tell Franchitti's the other one, and he's got his signature blue helmet with the Scottish cross on it. But Tracy's not going to take that one easily. He's always aggressive, that one. Hopefully can get away from him before anything too wild on a high-speed oval like this. Coming into turn 3, so under 10 laps to go. And finally getting back some positions up to P10. But I love this. This is fairly accurate, I have to say. It's really, this is what that high-speed oval racing was like. Slipstreaming, avoiding traffic, obviously, avoiding any kind of crazy incidents. And I have not seen this done well in any offline sim really since IndyCar 2. And even with that, I'd have to say, whoa, getting squeezed up wide by Tamada. Even IndyCar 2, I don't think it does it as well as this, honestly. So this is definitely some of the best offline IndyCar oval racing that I've ever seen in a game. And if there were just a couple things different, it's always a couple things, but yellow flags, a proper starting procedure, although it's not that bad even with the way it is here. This could really be a great IndyCar sim. I think it is a good IndyCar sim. Surprisingly, I was not expecting it. I expected to have to fight to get the AI to do anything predictable, but it really was not difficult at all to get them to go around this circuit like you're seeing here. So made up another position there, I think on Montoya in the other target car. He's right in my mirrors. Montoya was an absolute weapon back in 1999, in a good way. Oh, washed up there behind Pappas. Montoya's gonna swing on by again. Talking more than I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, so I need to focus in here. Just a couple or 5 more laps to go. Oh, I got that double slipstream, look at that. 247 coming into turn 1, but I have to back out of it because I'm on the low side. Montoya sneaks around. But get the slipstream on him coming down the back straightaway, down to the low side, right to the line. Backing out of it. Oh, I could have taken that too. He's still behind me. Hear the squeal of the tires coming into the corner. There we go, passing Montoya. Not without a little bit of a fight, which you'd expect. He was still very hungry then. Oh, right in my mirrors too. Give him a little space on the high side. I think I would have cleared him by that much. But focusing forward now. Not sure where Montoya would be. I got a whole pack closing up on me too. This is where things get really sketchy when you have to look behind. There's Montoya on the outside. Ugh, it's way too close. Coming to the corner. He's gonna sneak around the high side. I think I've got cars looking low, cars looking high. Coming up on a slow car here. Oh, Robbie Gordon. See if I can come around the outside of him. Wasn't sure if I had a car low, so I didn't just want to turn left there. But now on the high side, washed out. Oh, right against the wall. All right, it was a hectic lap. Come here to the low side, just a few more laps to go. See if I can make this pass on Montoya. So able to do it, but he's going to have a little bit of speed on me. Keep it to the low side, protecting my position, but can't wrap it around the low side of the track without lifting. That's going to give him, there he goes, some speed to come around the outside. We'll come back on him with the slipstream. Coming up to another slower car, coming to turn one. Wrap around the high side. There he goes on the low side, but he's going to be a little slower down the back straightaway. Whoa, wheel to wheel, 245 miles an hour. We'll come to get the white flag here. Oh, I think it's Adrian Fernandez in front of me. That might be for position 2. Dip it down low. There we go. P7, last lap. Keeping it down low, nice and close, looking in my mirror. Looks like Fernandez is occupying Montoya now, but they're 3 wide back there. I think they've got Moreno as well. We'll come into turn 3, take the high line flat out. Oh, there goes Fernandez. But we'll come to the line. We still got some draft to do. Slipstream. Oh, side by side. Not able to get him. Oh my God. I said it during the race, but in case you fast forwarded directly to this part of the video, I'll say it again. This is, without a doubt, the best offline kart, IndyCar style oval racing that I've ever seen in a sim. And it's so surprising that AC can pull off the driving with the AI and all that, but the slipstreaming, the aero push, the AI itself just being able to manage racing like that, not getting caught up too much behind slower cars. It's very, very good. Just a couple of small things away from being what I'd call perfect, but certainly workable, and I can see myself, and I will see myself, having a lot of fun with this. This is a beautiful car, and I'm very excited to go try it out at some other circuits. I think I will try, maybe do a video as well around some road tracks, but wanted to do the ovals first because I haven't seen it done quite a lot yet. And that duel with Montoya at the end of the race was absolutely fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll leave you with some of that footage, but man, this is exactly what I wanted after trying kart precision racing. Some good, fun, high speed, high stakes oval racing in a kart IndyCar with way too much horsepower. But hope you had fun watching it. I can't wait to do some more of it, and I'll see you all again next time.